and welcome back to Gamer's Elf Loft. Come in, kick back, relax, and listen to me ramble. Today, I found a short but good story from the dynamic and gritty, dark and spooky adventure of Curse of Strahd, which was again ravished by a weeb who wanted to quote Isekai'd into the gruesome module. I will say the story doesn't have a very good or catchy ending, but it is a good read and shows how people who only think fantasy means anime can ruin any character or story by thinking that since they are playing Isekai, it makes them important and absolved of all sins. But before that, I just want to say I appreciate the true growth and love this channel is slowly getting. I hope to have my own beautiful community of followers and turn my lovely little hovel into a tavern for all of you to rest while you wait for many more adventures or while you're doing quests. I would also like to thank W for the sponsor of the channel. W prides itself on 100% full transparency and ingredients disclosed. To pack together 10 awesome ingredients to help keep you on top of your game. With over 20 different flavors that help you keep you hydrated and energized for any gaming sesh. I'm personally excited for the Japanese yuzu flavor, but they also have the solo leveling collab, bringing you the Shadow Monarch Surge and Egress Strike flavors, and different solo leveling shaker cups. Use the link in the description or the discount code GAMERELF to get 10% off your order. Thanks again W for the sponsor. Now let's get back to the video. Now with all that out of the way, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Come in, get back, relax, and listen to me ramble. This story comes from D&D Horror Stories by the Redditor Elendor5, titled Curse of Strahd and the Isekai'd Protagonist. This was an online play-by-post game of D&D 5e Curse of Strahd, starting with the Death House. Our characters were recently taken by the mists of Ravenloft and wound up there. Our characters had a short meet and greet scene at the very start, where they would be talking about themselves. All of them were from Forgotten Realms or similar D&D-esque worlds. All except one. I'll call Isekai'd Protagonist, which I am not going to keep saying that every single time, because that's very long. I'll just go with IP. His character's backstory was that he was from the real world, was about hit by a truck, but right before the impact, he was engulfed by the mists of Ravenhold and wound up here. That was all he had to say about it. The character was wearing a black sweatshirt with a hoodie, and said the sweatshirt supposedly had a picture of some anime character on it. I don't remember which one. In character, he kept dropping casual references to various anime or movies, or basically anything pop culture related. The character was also a rogue dual-wielding wakisashis, using stats for short swords, I assume. The game was described to be a regular Curse of Strahd 5e game, but the DM somehow approved this character. Well, whatever. I tried to roll with it even after it became clear just what this character is, and hoped IP won't be too annoying. The other players seem to adopt a similar approach. Well, IP designates himself as the party leader, and we set off along the road. Eventually, we come across a dead body of a man, and IP immediately starts looting the corpse. Cleric expresses some discomfort with this, but doesn't stop IP from doing it, and then proposes the idea that we should bury this dead body afterwards, as it could gain favor with the gods. IP immediately starts mocking the cleric, ranting about how gods are stupid, and morons worship them, and demands we move on. The rest of the characters knew that offending the gods is a bad idea, and tell IP just that. That only makes him double down and insults the rest of us too. We decide to quickly bury the dead body, as it won't take long and we aren't in a hurry anyway, so why not indulge the cleric's request? IP gets even more angry, throws some insults at us, and then storms off. We bury the dead body and have a short roleplay scene for the funeral, and then follow after IP. We come across the abandoned mansion, Durst Mansion. Come inside and reunite with IP there. IP wanted us to apologize for being mean to him. We don't. So he runs off upstairs in a huff. Eventually went upstairs as well and decided to check out one of the rooms there, which was this music room. The musical instruments there started playing and the fighter fails his save, which means he was forced to dance uncontrollably, while the rest of us are ambushed by enemies, and it seems like it will be a tough battle. IP shows up, but doesn't help us. Instead, he just describes his character standing in the doorway, watching the show, and making fun of us during the battle. None of the enemies attacked him. I'm just now rereading the story for this video, and I just now reread that actually and fully comprehended. You mean to tell me that the DM let this arrogant action have 0 consequences? Nice.
Nice.
One of us goes down, but we eventually manage to prevail even without IP's help. If you can even call it help. Afterwards, there's an in-character argument with IP that eventually found its way to out-of-game chat. Essentially, we tried to get him to be more of a team player, and said he should have helped us in the battle. IP kept insisting that it's our own fault for mistreating his character, and eventually started ranting about how horrible we are to his character. The whole time, the DM seemed to ignore out-of-character chat, so I messaged him and asked him if he could help talk to IP about his behavior. Since our efforts seemed to be in vain, the DM replied, "It's not his problem." Not his problem. Not his problem? You are the DM. The DM. It is everything about your problem. So we officially found 2 antagonists in this story. How can a DM let not only these actions go by, and seemingly encouraging them? Brother, you are the DM, the god of the entire world. If you saw fit, you could literally erase the world like you are the Covenant glassing a planet. How is the character in-game fighting turning to out-of-game fighting not your problem? I didn't feel like dealing with this any further, especially if this was going to be the DM's attitude going forward, so I decided to leave the game. No idea if this game continued afterwards. End of story. So, I'm gonna go off script. I wrote everything so far except for the story and everything, right? This not his problem comment in this video really, if you couldn't tell, upset me. You not only made an enemy out of this character by letting them do what they want, but also when people came to you for a concrete resolution, you said, "Not my problem." You are no longer a DM. You should no longer be DMing games. And I can only imagine that's why you do play by post, so you don't have to worry about actually being a DM except typing out your little fiction. Write a book. Write a book. No longer DM. You are not fit to DM people if this is your attitude to a literal problem player that shouldn't be a problem player, because you need to correct this. You, unfortunately, being a DM basically makes you the parent in most situations when it comes to stupid fighting. But you have to be there, have to notice the problems, correct the problems, and stop problems in process. Anyway, now I told you guys I like to ramble, but to be fair, this was justifiable because of the context. And I don't feel bad for what I've said, but this has to come down to a player not caring about anyone but his own story, and the DM not wanting to actually DM besides to tell his story. And from what it seems, like this is what all of this is all in the first session. And I'm glad it didn't take so long for the OP to say no and get out of there with their sanity. This is what I like to think is the problem with play-by-post games. And it's not a bad idea in concept, but so for anybody who doesn't know, the term play-by-post is what it describes on the tin. Is that it's through a messenger app or Discord to make a server that everybody a part of the game can see the game being posted and reply when they have time, which in theory is great for people with, like, a hectic social life or hard times making it to sessions. But for what it is, it can slowly, or in something fast in the story's case, turn into someone with so much downtime that they can basically corrupt the story to fit them, because they have all the time in the world to invest in watching each and every post that comes in. but also gives them a chance for the DM to say, find things to say, look up stats or make things up, or even just make everything concise and together for the players. But that does not mean you can DM and lounge around and not care about the characters. The DM has to understand that when you are playing by post, you put as much thought into the story that you are crafting as you do with your characters. But I would like to say I'm sorry for this long rant, but that being said, things need to change. And for recording this post, this story was only 10 days old. But we don't know how long the story was of this actual Reddit post. It was posted 10 days ago, but we don't know how long ago the story actually takes place. But please, anyone watching this, I want you to listen to these words and know that they come from a place of genuine care for all people to help with these bad problems and get them addressed. Because I want to help build a better D&D and RPG play space and community with these posts, and make them a distant but hard memory of the past. But with that being said, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Come back and remember to be safe, stay healthy, and enjoy my forest hovel. So long, everyone.